easy to do. A couple of key things you have to keep in mind. We run what I call a twist block, but it's an adjustment block. This block is used on the operator side of the Mark Andy 2200 because the male anvil is going where the die anvil is. This block has to be ran on the inside, the gear side, or it'll twist the wrong way. You can run square blocks on both sides if you want to. I tend to like the twist block because it makes getting the dies in and out a lot easier. The key thing is just make sure you run it on the right side. This one here, which is the square block, will now run on the operator side. On my female part, this will be on the operator side. It's the twist block. And this will be on the gear side like it's properly supposed to be done. First step I'm going to take in getting my embossing dies put in is I'm going to free my web over my die station. I'm going to hit my emergency stop so I can't accidentally get my hand caught. And then I need to remove this die anvil. On the Mark Andy 2200, this is simply done by pulling it out. Here again, very pressman friendly press. Simply I want to slide it out like so, trying to keep it even all the way. All right, as I load this, I want to make sure my hands don't hit anything, make sure that I protect the plate and always. My twist block's on the gear side. I'm going to straighten it out so it makes easy access to putting in. With the block being twisted, I can put my square block in on this side, and it'll slide right in. Once I do that, twist my block in, make sure it's tight. There's some slack in it, so I'm going to have to pull it out and do it again. I always move it back and forth. If it moves any at all, you need to reset it. Pull my twist block out, bring it right up to me. Everything square, slide it in, twist your block. Just like on dies, your oil holes need to be up. You need to oil this frequently. Shake it back side to side. It's good and tight. I know everything's fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull it to where my seam is facing downward so that when I go to register my second plate, everything fits right. Now I want to make sure everything's down hard. This is where the tricky part comes in. Now I'm going to set my female plate dead on top. Here again, the proper way of doing this, the way it's designed, is I would have already mounted my female plate, put it on top, and make my adjustments side to side and around with the gear, which we'll show you how to do that. What I'm going to show you now is Pressman's way of doing it. It's pretty simple. I'm going to simply lay my female plate on top of this. I'm going to engage it to my zippers on the side, my register marks, and the products in the middle. When I do this, I'm going to take tape it down, and just set my cylinder on top. It's very efficient, very easy to do. I'll now take my plate and simply engage it to my print that's up. And it's important that you have your seam down so you have some room to flap this up on. And you'll feel it when that zipper locks in. There it goes, right there. And then you want to make sure it's locked in over here, which you have register marks to go by. And here again, when it's locked in, you'll know. Okay, now then I simply take my tape that I've already pre-done, put it down here, make sure my press is off, take my tape on this side, put it down here, here again making sure my press is off so that my plate cannot move. Okay, now as you can see, my plate is completely wrapped around in the right spot, and now it's just simply a matter of me putting the female die on top. One of the tricks to this is that my female die has to slide down in there perfectly even with the seam of my tape facing down, and it's got to touch at the exact right time for it to work. Everything looks good and snug. Okay, now I have to make sure that it evenly went down. Now the true test, I simply peel my tape off, bring my plate up, let it lay over, peel my tape off this side, let it pull up, let it lay over. And that's the way it should be done, to do it the easy way, or what I consider to be the easy way. Now what we want to do is just simply pull our stock through. You never want to be coming at an up angle. Always coming in at a down angle, like so. I don't want to disengage this at all, so I'm going to pull it right there. Now to make sure this don't get disengaged, I'm going to go ahead and put my bridge on. And my pressure gauge. I won't put pressure on it. I'll just put it on simply to hold it down so the teeth don't come disengaged. Tighten that down. Now I'll just barely engage these. Cut my emergency stop off. Get me a tear. And then just slowly let this feed through. I won't have to come up at that point. I want to come straight. Now then I'll finish webbing out my press. Now I'll jibe my press, put minimum pressure on my pressure gauges, and see how my embossing lines up. Hopefully everything will be good. I can tell it's good though before I look, because when it's not, it makes a terrible sound. But if you look down through here, and we'll go to the end of the press, there's your zippers. Get your zipper over here. Now, if you need to make adjustments and you go ahead and mount both your plates and you're going to adjust them, the proper setting for making the adjustments, the proper adjustments are simply this. You first have to do a couple of things. The first thing I'm going to have to do is go to the back of the press and loosen up these 3 bolts. That'll be the first thing. Simply loosen these with your Allen wrench, make sure they're loose. Always make sure you tighten them back after you make adjustments. Once you get them loose, now you're ready to go to the other side of the press and make your adjustments. Now since my back screws are loose, this allows my gear to have some slippage. The way we control this, here again, and we have 2 set screws right here. This is 1 set screw. Now depending on which way I need my plate to turn, depends on how I want to do my set screws. If I want it to turn this way, then I simply loosen this set screw, how much I want it to move, and then I'll come over to this one and tighten this set screw. And you'll see the plate actually move. See it move as it rotates around? Now that one's tight and this one's tight. So I'll do it again. I'm going to rotate it the other way just so you see it move. I want to rotate it this way now. I want to loosen this one how much ever. And then I'm going to tighten this one down. And it'll rotate the opposite way. See the gear move? Now it's completely tightened down. Once this is done, I need to go back to the back of the press and tighten my gear down. Once that's done, I can put my pressure gauge on, check my impression, see which way I need to move it. This is the way that conventionally it's done, the way it's designed to be done. Here again, both ways work great. I think you find that pressmen tend to try to do things that are the most pressman friendly to them, is why I wrapped the plate on the way I did. It was shown to me by a pressman. Works real well either way. I think that whatever fits you is going to be what you end up doing.
Okay, what we're going to cover here today is cleaning your Analox rolls, which is very important because you get these markings in your Analox and that will show up on your print, especially in larger prints and reversals and such. You want to keep it clean, keep those cells clean, get the ink out of the bottom of them, so you'll have consistent color from each job, from one job to the next. What we're going to use today is a product called CeramClean 2. It's put out by the Harper Corporation. All we do, we're going to take a little bit, use a regular sponge, scrub on this side. I'm going to apply just a little bit onto the sponge, and that should be enough to clean the whole roll. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on here. I'm going to take it around. I'm going to wipe it on. If a little falls off, just pick it up and put it back on. I'm going to spread it out on here like this. If you notice, I've got my bearings up on the wood blocks so the Analox roll will turn very easily. And I don't have to worry about turning it with the gear and scratching your hand up or anything like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it spread out real good here. Now I'm going to take, you can see right there while I'm already pulling it off. See how dirty that is? It was clean. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over to the rougher side. This will not hurt your Analox. Now keep in mind, I'm cleaning a 1,000 line Analox roll here. Harper Corporation has a 2,000 line and a 1,200 line. And we've found a lot of times you'll use a stainless steel brush to clean your Analox. It's not good to use it on those. It will mess up a 2,000 line or a 1,200 line. But right here, I'm not even using that. I'm just going to take here and I'm going to scrub it. I'm not scrubbing hard. I'm just taking this and cleaning it with this side. I'm going to go around in small circles and clean it off. It doesn't take that much, but you want to make sure you get it clean. And see, if I take this side, see this side's rather clean, and I wipe it, you see where it's bringing it off, but it's actually starting to clean it. What I'm going to do, I'll take a little bit more. Now, you can just wipe this off, and they say you can just take it straight to the press without rinsing it off. Well, we like to do those. We like to rinse it off. But what I'm going to do here today, I'm just going to take some paper towels. I suggest that you do rinse it off in a sink. I'm going to wipe it off. See that I'm pulling off? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, we just use any typical cleaner. This is Simple Green. You can use 409 or whatever. There's a lot of cleaning agents that you can get from your ink vendor, whatever you prefer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this off. Spray it a little bit because I want to get that off of there. I can take my sponge. See how it's coming off right there? See now I'm just basically taking the CeramClean off, which it really won't hurt, but it is a grainy substance, so it's kind of grainy. So I would suggest that you might want to wipe it off. We usually rinse them in the sink, but just for demonstration purposes here, I'm just going to wipe it clean with the Simple Green, or like I said, any typical cleaner, and a sponge. See, now I'm wiping it, and what we're seeing here, you see how I'm pulling stuff up, but see the difference just from that. Now then, I'm going to take paper towels. You want to always remember to dry your Analoxes off after you wash them. If you let them sit up, they'll get water spots on them where the water just drips down to the bottom, and it sits there, and you'll get these water spots along your Analox, and that will show up in your print. So it's very important that you do dry your Analoxes off after you clean them and after you rinse them. Okay, now you can see the Analox roll is clean and it's dry. Now it's ready to go to press, are to be wrapped in a protective